Hey there, troopers. This is Random Game Channel back with some more news. Alright, so recently, yesterday, May 30th, 2025, there was a Q&A streaming event here that Off-World Industries did for Starship Troopers Extermination. So you haven't already, definitely go check it out. Experience it for yourself. But if you want to get a list of kind of like all the questions and stuff that were talked about, and you kind of want timestamps, this is what I got. I'm just gonna go from the start. I'm gonna go all the way to the end. All right. So yeah, here we go. So the first one here, updates about the button-up shirts that I always wear for the streams. Apparently they got them from some really obscure Etsy store. They did say they're gonna try to find a way to like send a link out in the Discord, so people can buy that stuff too. So while we wait, I'm also gonna try to look on Etsy, try to figure it out, because those shirts look really cool and I want one. Next one is retroactive rewarding of Galactic Front unlockables. So for future Galactic Fronts, it sounds like they will award the skins and other non-perk unlockables for everyone to enjoy. Once the event is over, and if you successfully completed the Galactic Front, it'll be unlocked for everyone, present and future. However, this isn't going to be a thing for Boreas, because that was the first one. They're kind of like thinking about it, but afterwards everybody can get it. So perks, those will always be given to troopers no matter what. It's just a matter of winning it through the Galactic Front first. Alright. Has there been any updates to resolving the mantling over obstacles, bugs / issues? This one was asked by me and Rabbit in Steam, but my YouTube handle is Random Game Channel. But yes, I asked that. PMO said they are constantly trying to improve that for the players. It just kind of gets really annoying though when it happens to you. It tends to happen a lot for me when I'm trying to go up the side of a wall, a ramp wall, or a bunker. It's just sometimes it fails on you. Next one is adaptive triggers for consoles. No plans for it just yet. Does seem like it's like a very big or like it's not like a high priority thing for them, from what I can tell. They got bigger and better things to squash. Bug spawning, how's it work? So this was kind of like in reference to what's coming down the pipeline. The new spawning system has been pushed out to playtesters this week. Can't really say much except that I haven't been able to test it out yet. Just been so busy with work, I couldn't join on any of the playtest dates. Next thing here is the completely new system. Doesn't share any coding from the old system, so it's going to be completely new, nothing shared. And when it comes into the game, it should feel on par to the best feeling that you had with the existing spawning system. With the best feeling that you had with the existing spawning system. That's kind of like a quote that I got from the stream. But what I think PMO is trying to say is that it should be what you imagined it to be if it were in a perfect state already. Next one. Plans to reward engineers for doing engineer tasks. Some new things are rolling out through the perks and new Galactic Front perks and for doing certain actions for all classes. Examples that are always going around are like, clearing corpses, running the ores to the base or like the bunker. So those are being looked at, and hopefully we'll see something soon. Let's see. Will there be special horde maps? No, not the best return for investment. Because from what I can understand, like, if you make a special map for, like, one game mode, like, it kind of takes away the time that they can invest in, like, things that can be applied more universally or globally to the rest of their projects. So siloing a task like that, I think, kind of not a good investment in their time and money, because they're a small studio, right? However, PMO did say a new mode they're working on will only happen on a special map, and that map will only support that mode, nothing else. So yeah, we got that at least. Add new imposter mode, or add a laser tag mode like from the first movie. No, this is a PvE only game. They don't want to do any like player versus player thing. Plans to add dismemberment of bugs. It's a massive investment. It's talked about all the time. However, not being worked on at this time. Any plans to open up other areas of the existing maps? Yes, 100% full intent to add new play areas to existing maps. New play mode that's coming out will be in Agni Prime, Valaka. These are two new maps that these are the two new maps that will come out soon. For expanded play areas. I should reword that. New play mode that's coming out, or hold on. Oh, I think it was in reference to the new game mode that's coming out will be in Agni Prime and Valaka. Hold on. These are the two new maps that will come out soon for expanded play area. Oops, they worded that really weirdly. Let's trip them up. So Agni Prime, let's just shorten it to Agni Prime and Valaka. These are two maps that will come out soon. These are the two, I should say, areas. Nope, hold on. Let's say that will contain new expanded play areas. There you go. That's a better way to say it. And those places are Starport and Field Depot. And for Acme Prime are some of the areas where existing play spaces will be expanded. Oops. These are some of the areas where existing play spaces will be expanded. They want to do a combination of adding new plants and building up existing plants. Play areas. So they kind of want, from what I understand, they kind of want to do a combination of where like they bring in some new stuff, like new stuff to kind of like zhuzh up existing planets to give them like extra bit of life, give them some variety, while also bringing in new planets themselves. That's the takeaway I think for that. Next little thing here is the Carnage model. Will Carnage be added to the tanker? Not at this time, but they are interested in adding it. So if you're not familiar with Carnage, that like development model or whatever you call it that they developed and made, that they created for this game, is a system where like corpses, bullet holes, things like that, it's going to persist in the game until the game ends. Usually, corpses and bullet holes as examples again. In other games, they kind of just disappear over time. You can see that a lot when you're playing something like Call of Duty. So that's like something no game company has ever done before. Not that I know of. Off-World Industries is the first peeps to have done it. And it was looking pretty good. So that's what Carnage model is. Adding new light sources for nighttime environments. Yeah, they're looking into adding more and improving on what's already there. Tidbit here is like if it's too dark or too close to pitch black, they'll add something, but only where it makes sense. Like what PMO is saying, if it's like a cave, they probably won't add too much stuff in there because caves naturally are supposed to be pretty damn dark, right? Yeah. Any new info on the new map? Yes, it's on the way. PMO will talk more about it in July. Planning to have one ready to release mid to late October. Multiple maps are in design right now. However, the map was already discovered by someone in Discord back in November of 2024, after PMO changed their icon to something. I think it might have been like a nuke symbol, like a nuclear symbol. Can't remember, it's too long ago. But it was discovered by someone they talked to a lot in Discord and the playtesters group. I mean, I have an idea who it is, but I won't say nothing. We'll leave it to the rest of the people to try to figure out. However, I think I might have a note later on down in this doc. I think the place that people were talking about was Roku-san. I'm not 100% sure if that's the place, right? So you gotta keep looking. Let me know. Future of Plasma Bombardment event. PMO really loves it. Wants to expand it planet-wide or at least map-wide and to spice things up and add some new elements to it. Plasma bug when? Eventually they want to get it in after the Scorpion. Scorpion is on the way right now on a new planet that's in space. Green and hopper bugs are on the way. A little thing about power armor. So first thing is the Babar will come out first. I don't know if I'm spelling that right. Comes packaged with something else in the game. Not expecting it to be where all 16 players can use it at the same time. So meaning that they don't want all 16 players to be in the Babar. The thing that's just like, it's just too OP. So yeah, the power suit, they have models for it, that's what they said, but from what PMO was saying is that the DSC already are armored, which we have. You can see it, what we wear. It doesn't add too much value to troopers because we already got like some form of it. For example, like take for example the Emancipator. That thing's apparently supposed to be using a rifle round, and people without power armor aren't able to shoot it without suffering some serious form of injury because the recoil is significant. However, we're supposed to be able to use it because of the armor we're using. I just remember seeing that somewhere in the Discord a long time ago. That was kind of like the reasoning behind it. Rated 2 coming out late June when V1.5 goes live. As they said in the stream, so much cool shit. How many? Yes, it is. My take on it is that all I can say when I tested it out a little bit, that it is indeed very much fun to play. So yeah. However, what is publicly known is that it has burst fire, can be modified to go full auto. There is an experimental plasma shot, and the grenade launcher, it just comes with it, and you can put scopes on it. So yeah. How will older weapons be updated to maintain relevance as new weapons get added? Always being tuned is what they say. Their combat designer works on them to make sure everything has a place. It has, pros and cons, and it stays relevant. So it sounds like they don't want to like phase something out unintentionally because it just isn't really effective anymore. They want to keep the stuff that they made relevant. For example, the weapons recently got some updates. SMG had its damage increased, and that's the only thing I can remember. There's a couple more things, but that's like some example I can recall at this time. New spawning system, all they can say is that it's progressing well. It works. It's in playtest right now. Fortunately, I'm just so goddamn busy that I can't help with that. Yeah, sorry. Maybe tomorrow when I have time. If there's anything going on. Any plans for Tanker? When V1.5 comes out, it'll make an appearance on another planet. It's been fine-tuned with the spawning. Let me just reword that. Spawning has been fine-tuned with their new nav mesh, and it won't spawn right on top of, or won't spawn right next to, I can't spell, the mobile HQ. Gonna be a bigger threat, and it will be the centerpiece of the new mode, the new game mode in V1.6. Resolving new and long-standing bugs. They always try to fix in a combination of, stuff that's been there for a while and stuff that's been recently added to the game. There's over 1,000 bugs that have been documented so far, which reminds me I need to send Astraea a gameplay clip of a bug I had recently where what happened? I was in the dropship. I had the health stim in my hand, switched to my mobile build tool class ability for the engineer, and then I got stuck in the kind of like a T-pose thing for holding the stem in my hands. Couldn't jump, couldn't crouch, couldn't run, couldn't interact with anything. It's very weird. I have to remember to send that to Astraea. I'm just saying this out loud here so I can try to remember. Have to choose which occurs more often or have a large impact on the player base. This is why new features aren't added as much, because they want to prioritize resolving the bugs in the game. So yeah, I think they're doing a pretty good job with it. It's just they have so much to sort through and try to prioritize and deprioritize things. It's a lot for any team to tackle right away. So everyone should try to be as patient as they can. I know it can kind of get a little frustrating when shit happens, but they are looking into the stuff. Okay. SOG missions. Are there more on the way? We'll eventually add a few more missions, however the main focus is enriching the 16-player aspect of the game. Ranger scan pulse on cooldown instead of charges. They're open to the idea, but they didn't look too enthusiastic about it. I'm not really down for a cooldown, because that means there'll be times where you just can't use it when you really need it. I think it's good to have it the way it is, because if you run out of your scan pulse and you need it to scan pulse again right away, you're kind of shit out of luck, right? This is more about I think troopers managing their inventory. Take stock of what you got and try to think 2 steps ahead, right? I think that's the takeaway here. Any details about the classes that you, PMO, would like to share? They mentioned that the Morita 2 is being released soon. I believe they said it's coming out with V1.5. You can get more details by checking for this. Check the old dev blog posts for the time frame. Pretty sure it's mentioned there because I remember seeing it there. Every class and every patch is always being looked at, and they ask themselves, what can we do with that? There are plans to increase the levels of each class and to introduce a new class. This new class has been kind of mentioned a little bit in the previous dev blog posts. I think last we heard it's supposed to be some kind of psychic commander / class like that. But we'll see. We'll see what they have about that as time goes on. Server performance. Always being looked at. They do get crash reports about every server crash. However, they want to let us know that, in actuality, less than 1% are legitimate server crash issues. Majority of the player base are in North America. They're planning to add 2 new servers, one in US East and one in US Central. 60% of the players are actually in North America. Servers sometimes run out of memory. This can cause server performance issues. So they said here, some players may be getting latency issues or lag because they're playing at off-peak hours. Actually, let me indent this. So let me just kind of give you my take and explanation and interpretation on what PMO is saying. This is taking into consideration a conversation that they had with us in the playtesters group, kind of talking about how the matchmaking works. So let's just kind of read through this and let me see if I can add more info. So it says here, Oops. Off-peak hours are where people are not normally on in a region. Like, for example, right? You're on the game at 1 a.m. in the morning. Most people are going to be asleep at that time. So that means you're not going to be able to find that many people playing the game at that time, right? Um, so what that means is that matchmaking expands beyond their local area, does so automatically. This helps to connect people together, and sometimes the matchmaking system will try and connect you with people very far from your own region. Their example is like someone in Europe will sometimes get paired up with people on US East. That'd be like the next closest region, right? We're just over the pond. Yeah. However, when this does happen, this can further increase the potential for lag and latency issues. From what I understand, is that kind of each major continent has like these large cables like running under the ocean to connect them, right? Not everything's like a wireless signal that connects people to places and things. There are actually hard wires running essentially on the ocean floor. This is part of what I read about when I was learning about GIS. GIS is my background for a little bit for school, but for work. So that does ring a bell, and did have to learn about that. But anyways, the thing is that there's only so much data that these cables can push through at a time before things kind of get throttled, so that everybody can have a connection and not everybody gets dropped. So that's kind of like how they explained it to us, and that's kind of how I understood it. So things like that can also kind of play a factor in lag, high ping, latency issues, things like that, right? And the other thing is that they have talked about region locking matchmaking. However, this can cause matchmaking to not work very well because you're locked into your region. So again, taking the matchmaking during off-peak hours, you're probably not going to find very many people, and it's going to probably take a really long time for you to find someone to play with. So that's what all that's about. Okay. Adding anything new to Carnage systems, such as physics, to the arachnid corpses? Nothing at this time, just XP for clearing them. So yeah. Will there be armor cosmetics, meaning different generic armor pieces that you can equip to each class? No, they are specific and tailored to their classes. That's something they said right there, in quotes. Each class is unique, and they want to keep them specifically tailored to them. So they don't want to make like, for example, let's take like Halo, right? In Halo, you could always mix and match your armor pieces. Not in this game, okay? That's not what they want. They want each class to look, unique and specialized. So you're not going to see the sniper helmet on a medic. That's just not going to happen. And it wouldn't really make sense, right? Different side objectives in the near future. Looking into new roles after the new spawning system goes live. They are looking for new things that can be implemented in the second half of 2025. I think that's what they're saying. Leading into 2026. So we're about, look here, We're about 1 month away from getting into the second half of this year. God damn, the time has flown by real fast. So yeah. Will the radio backpack be added to call in artillery and airstrikes? It's not on the roadmap right now, but oops. There you go. But they are looking into building a new building type that would have the ability to do artillery and airstrikes. As PMO said, it looks like a big dish, so we'll see. Player hub, not anytime soon. PMO wants it though. May change towards the end of the year if people keep asking for it. So keep asking for it. He's hinting at something maybe. Community interest, right? I mean, that's how the cameraman thing came about, because people kept bringing it up. So if we keep bringing up about this player hub, well, then it'll probably make it happen. Realistic rangefinders on scopes. Not sure if the designers want that. It sounded like a maybe from what I understood. However, the thing that they always say by default is never say never. I've never had too many issues with bullet drop as a sniper when I'm doing long range shots. You just eyeball it. That's what you do. I mean, that's how, like, you kind of have to do that anyways with a rangefinder. You kind of have to eyeball it. You zero in the distance and all that, and you still gotta eyeball it, see if you actually get it or not. So I'm kind of with PMO on that. It doesn't sound like it's a really needed feature. Okay. Will the always online requirement be removed at some point so we can play SOG missions offline? Also, any new content? This is a pretty interesting question. I do see where they're coming from though, because like if for example if you're on a console and you don't have the online subscription anymore to play online, you still want to get your fix for killing bugs. Well, how are you going to do that? You can't. All right. So originally, they're saying that they wanted it to be offline, but they wouldn't be able to reward you for playing it because you get weapon, class, and rank XP. However, that idea was scrapped due to people potentially cheating. So blame it on the dirty cheaters for ruining that element. Great. Thank you. Yeah. Any additions to the camera, such as more buffs, able to actually record them on your computer or console, or to show play of the game after the game is over. Keep adding this feedback into the Discord. The more they see it, the more evidence that they can give to the teams and say, hey, people actually want this, let's do it, kind of thing. Similar to how the cameraman came into being, right? Like, people kept asking about it. So, do the same thing, keep asking about it over and over and over again. That shows you that there's interest for it. They also mentioned that it's been a massive success so far, and they do enjoy watching people make their own gameplay clips. Yeah. Goodness. Need to get a cough drop. My throat's getting so goddamn dry. And then it gets too phlegmy all the time. Been like this ever since I started working for Meta back in 2020. Damn shame. Lost my job because of goddamn AI. Not because I wasn't a low performer, I was overperforming. Okay. Where was I? Oh yeah, it's over here. Company customization. Alright, we'll get it rolled out by the end of the year. You can change your color, your emblem, your background, etc. Oops, over here. It's already been designed and approved. We'll also get company leaderboards set up by the end of the summer, from what I believe they're saying. This is planned to go live before company customization. I'm pretty sure I heard that right. Let me know if I got that wrong. Allow us to change loadouts late in the game. They have thought about it being always on. However, they asked themselves, like, then what if somebody switched their loadout several times? How do we calculate the XP for that? I think what they're saying is, like, how on the back end are they going to get all the XP rewarded for the things that they do? Not 100% sure, because, like, maybe it has a unique way of tracking things. Like, for example, the ranger and the sniper have the ability to scan stuff, or like the scan dart, and the ranger has like the scan pulse. You get points for that. If they switch to, like, medic, how is the end XP tracker gonna do that correctly? Maybe there's like some issue where, like, it doesn't have the capability to track it across different classes if you play at the same time, right? So I don't know. That's something I'm working on. Their suggestion, or their idea really, was maybe extend the current time frame to switch out, or have some kind of build option. I think what maybe PMO was saying is, like, maybe they can make the loadout locker as a buildable structure that you can make in the base. I don't know, something that they have to kind of like work on. Will there ever be bosses to fight on Galactic Front? I mean, realistically, you think about it, the tanker is the very first like major boss that we've had. Actually, the first one that we've had was actually the Royal Guard. That's always been kind of a, you can kind of think of it as a mini boss, but the actual big, real bad boss is the tanker. So it's a mutator, so that's how we encounter it. And then the next thing that's coming out is the Scorpion. That's already been like talked about in the previous blog post, so that's nothing new. But we'll see the Scorpion in the next Galactic Front, apparently. Any plans to put in interactive elements in the map? For example, like elevators, or like new hazards like the lava, things like that. The simple answer is we already have some. I think, like, they want to find unique ways to add something new to each planet. They don't want to add, for example, on Valaka, an acid pool, because it'll work similarly to how there's lava pools in Agni Prime. It's just like a rehashing of what's already there. They don't want to do that. They want to do something unique to each planet. Will the Pylum ever be a part of the loadout system? No, it won't be a class weapon. However, they're saying the M55 is not going to be a class-based weapon either. And PMO, I think, was implying that you're going to have to just keep finding them in the MI caches. The Pylum is too damn strong to be part of a loadout weapon. There's just no way. You would never use anything but that weapon. So yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. Like, have you ever been in a match where, like, everybody has a Pylum? There's a mutator for that now, but, like, it's kind of rare. And if you've been in early access, There's been times where everybody consistently had a goddamn pylum. It kind of made the game on easy mode when it was hard. It was supposed to be on hard mode. I do miss using it, but for the sake of the game, I don't think there should be a loadout weapon. It's too strong for that. Or else everybody use it all the time and they wouldn't be using no other weapons. So yeah. Power weapon system. PMO says that it's the existing weapon system that we already have. It's the stuff you find in the crates, meaning the MI caches. The stuff you find in the field. So next one. What is the one wildest idea that you had that will never make its way into the game? PMO said, I just added it, it's already been approved. You guys already know it because I already shared it with you. I have no idea what that is. Yeah, if you guys know, let me know. I'm curious. I'm not always plugged in this Discord and conversations. I got a life outside of gaming. Got a life outside of Starship Troopers Extermination. Okay. Can you tease the next planet? It's in space. Already been guessing in the Discord a long time ago. Like I mentioned earlier up here in the notes, is by someone, has been correctly guessed by someone in the Discord that they talk with a lot in Discord and in the playtesters group. That's what PMO said. But from what I can tell by looking at the Discord, somebody please correct me if I'm wrong. They said Roku-san. I don't know. Let me know if that's right or wrong. Demo charges. Will we ever be able to throw it instead of having to plant it on the goddamn floor? I think there was a discussion about it, but nothing imminent. It takes forever to plant it on the floor because the floor needs to be clean. There's a bug in the way, it ain't gonna work. Same thing with a corpse. Next one. Will there be more modes that will be for 16 plus players? No, not this time. All modes will be 16 players going forward in V1.5. The exception is SOG missions, because that's the tutorial. Will company size be 30 forever? Nope. They did mention this in the last couple of dev blogs, so make sure you're tuning into those. A lot of good information in there. Going forward, there's going to be change to the Galactic Front, so you no longer have to spend the Intel points to buy missions. You're using it to customize your company. So, like we were saying earlier, up in the notes, you know, color, nameplate, templates, backgrounds, emblem, things like that. And you can expand the company size. For example, they're listing off like 10, 20, 30, up to 100. Do you have plans to add more non-movie bugs? Yes. ETA for TAC fighters. We have working prototypes for it and will be implemented when the big dish is released into the game. This is in reference to the new building type that can do artillery / airstrike capabilities. So, thinking about it now, that probably means it'll probably be some kind of like command station with a big old radar dish on top of it. Interact with it, then maybe, as my speculation, okay, nothing they're saying, this is my thoughts and opinions right here. Maybe when you use this radar dish thing, this building thing, it means that either you can get a random artillery or airstrike to randomly bombard an area, or you can specify a specific portion of the map. That's just my guess on how that could work. And the attack fighter will do a flyby and bomb the shit out of everything, right? So that's how I think it would work. Okay, that's just my thoughts and opinions. That's nothing that they said officially. The speculation. So I get that out there. Prototype phases are usually just before development phases begin, so this stuff is in prototype phase. And development will begin shortly. But I think that's still a long ways off because development can take a while. New planet-specific hazards. Oh, I think I kind of read into this earlier about the unique interactive elements for the planets. So they said, yes, we have plasma bombardment, sandstorm. They want to have more, but they also want each planet to feel special and unique. So, you know, don't want a thing similar to sandstorm on Boreas. You know, the similar vibe could be snowstorm. That's just rehashing, right? Say they don't want to rehash things. They want to give every different planet its own unique thing, its idea, its identification, its own vibes, right? So some things that they're saying, for example, right? Each planet has its own thing. Valaka has lots of bad tech. So in Valaka, you can see a lot of like destroyed Federation buildings, equipment, lots of just random supplies and vehicles left strewn about. Yeah. Agni Prime, however, has open vistas and lava pools and lava rivers. Boreas, well, it just has the verticality, that's its thing, and X11 has caves with one central location. Okay. Will Casper be making any returns in a voicing capability? Yes. That's all they could say about that. Are we going to get a camera crew skin or anything else? Yes, in 1.5, when that drops, there will be a new DLC called Stinging Fury. More DLCs coming throughout the year. Another event for the Galactic Front will provide new skins. Another event, I should say, will be released or will be partnered with the Galactic Front, which will provide new skins. So some of the color for Stinging Fury has colors based on PMO's shirt. Contains one of his favorite colors. So check it out. There's supposed to be a lot of like glowy, shiny parts to it, which I assume kind of is like how the X11 skins are. If you look at the weapon skins for it, there are like little lights and stuff that shine. You can see it more when you're in nighttime or in low light settings. Why doesn't the single player tutorial already take place on Valaka or the hell, or on an already established map? It takes place across all different planets because they wanted to create a linear play experience for a new player. So remember, this is for new players. If you allow them to start wandering off and they get lost, then you have failed as the tutorial. They didn't want that, so that's why they made a linear kind of style for the tutorial, a more controlled environment. So like I was saying, like a new player may wander off and get lost, and that just wouldn't work as a tutorial. You failed at that point. A big part of it, however, was that they were working a lot of time constraints, when they're shipping a console version of the game. And, the size of the team is very small. Very small. And they can't do everything all the time. They need to split the time to work on stuff that has the greatest impact for the game. They just want it to be quick missions, 2 to 3 minutes max, just to introduce some of the elements of the game. Will Scorpion be a boss bug? I mean, yes. This thing's very destructive. I mean, have you seen the movies? Like, nothing was able to kill this goddamn thing. Insane. It's meant to be big. Be a big, massive bug. It's tanker-sized. Okay? Critical Strike Mode. That's the name of the new game mode. May not be a permanent part of the game, so, if you like it, say something in the Discord to let the team know that people are enjoying it, and then they'll keep it. Will there ever be a chance of not having an evac ship? Critical Strike won't have an evac ship, and there won't be any base building. So, I think that is referring to another part of the thing down here somewhere. Let's see. No, I forgot where I said it. I think it was in reference to Critical Strike being kind of like a infinite board-like experience. Someone correct me if I'm wrong about this. Okay, let me know. Can you tell us about the reasoning behind the names of the planets like Boreas and Valaka? Valaka was built well before PMO, and many people that are currently on the team now joined the team. They said that, indent here, Sanskrit was used for that word. Once PMO gets some more lore and codex made, then add it in and it'll expand the reasoning behind the names. So for Boreas, inspired by Canada, it's by living in Canada. They're like a Canadian developer. It's an Inuit-inspired thing that is part of PMO's heritage to take on indigenous naming for cold and snow. PMO also looks at indigenous people from around the world and takes inspiration from them to name their planets and other things like that. This thing called a Mokegan system, I believe that's like maybe the planet system that these planets are in. Is based off of Muskeg, a term used to describe frozen tundra in certain tribes and indigenous groups. So, PMO has done their homework on things. Actually based off of real stuff. That's pretty cool. 2 new buildings are being made for the game. It's been approved and just needs the gameplay to go with it. It needs the design and the reason why it's there. So I think they just need to tie in gameplay elements to further justify why it's there, how it works, how it functions, and how the troopers are supposed to interact with it. I think that's what they're mentioning. I think that's what they're referring to. Can you tell us about the game's moderation? In the game, if you didn't know, you can submit reports. Just pull up the scoreboard while you're in the game. Navigate to the person's username, click it. There should be an option to report them. Make sure you kind of give a description of what the hell's going on, because they actually do read that stuff. Okay. So, for example, that they give, people are cheating, being vile, being racist, being sexist, whatever, right? Being a piece of fucking shit. That essentially that's what they're saying. Like, you're being a fucking piece of shit, you don't get reported. Alright. So these reports go into the back end, they go into the system. They look at how many reports a certain account has and who's reported it. For example, if one person's reporting the incident 50 times, then maybe it's the reverse. Maybe that person's being the fucking asshole. Okay? So they look at stuff like that. Some people do use the reporting function to attack someone else. It's unfortunate. It happens. People are assholes. How many reports are consistent with the descriptors? So they look at what's being said in the issue description. So that's why in that text field that you see when you pull up a report, you gotta fill it out. You gotta describe what's going on. I cannot tell you how many times people don't fill out an issue description field. As a former team lead on a GIS team, people hardly ever filled out an issue description that fully described the issue. It's always 1 word, 2 words, 3 words, then do shit. So, I'm telling you, you gotta have a good description of what the hell is going on. You can't just say, Johnny Appleseed destroyed the base. Well, what the hell does that even mean? Was the person trolling by destroying everything? Or, what's going on? You gotta really describe what happened, who done it, and, what kind of mayhem they caused, okay? Be descriptive. That's why it's called issue description. Yeah. This process is done after the easy anti-cheat system has caught the blatant cheaters, meaning that, something super easy to catch, right? Some doing like curse words, or the exploiting the game, things like that. That's like the easy stuff, right? And after that, they look at the history of the account, and they look at, how many times have they been warned before? Okay. After that, if the account has a history of doing something and has been warned, then bans go out. 1 day ban, 2 day ban, 7 day ban, permanent ban, right? So it takes a lot to get a permanent ban made around non-invasive cheating. Things like infinite ammo or doing something malicious in the game can result in a permanent ban. They want the community to policing the community. Excessive teardown, this is an example. Excessive teardown and rebuilding. Very problematic in Horde because your resources are finite per goddamn wave. I've seen people do this before. Fuck off. Goddamn. And people should stay on top of doing that, or you'll get reported. So you should say something, but then if you do say that, they get a little pissy, and then they get mad, they get angry, and they, call you names and shits like that. Nah, bruh. I just go straight to the report. You being asshole, I report you. There you go. I ain't gonna say nothing. waste my breath on that. I just go report you right away. That kind of stuff ruins the play experience, so please don't do that kind of shit, right? Next thing here, will there ever be a survival frontlines game mode? Have had many talks about infinite hordes. Oh, that's where I got that idea from. So after the new updates to horde mode were solidified, they were starting to talk about these things, and from there they could kind of start to experiment with their systems to see how things work. So never say never situation here, but it looks like they are kind of looking into something like that. We'll see. Any thoughts on adding prone or sliding ability? They talked about it, but not at this time. I like the idea of prone, but I don't like the idea of sliding, because it'll just turns into fucking Call of Duty. Then yeah, it's no good. I don't like sliding in games. Just too much bullshit from Call of Duty, man. Such a stupid thing. That's just my thoughts and opinions. People love sliding, but I don't. Not my kind of thing. Next topic. Will AI troopers come back? They're gonna be in V1.5. Remember, V1.5 is coming out towards the end of June. Next month. Optimizations have been made, so it's looking amazing is what they said. How will hopper bugs work? Prototyping is happening slowly. Their nav meshes aren't set up for flying enemies. Goal is to make them behave how they did in the movies to the best that their systems can handle this new element to the game. Examples. Pick someone up, drop them into lava, and saying the tests look good for it. Other example is they will do dive bombs. Pretty cool, right? We'll have to wait and see. If you haven't heard already, there's a double XP this weekend until Monday at 10 a.m. PST. I'm not doing it right now because I'm doing this, and I'm hoping to get this published soon. But you have homework to do, troopers. Create a review on Steam with a thumbs up if you want to, and leave a comment. These are important metrics for the team. Allows people to know how people are liking the game. If you haven't been following them, they take all the feedback very, very seriously on how to improve the game for the community. And, they're making big effort to make sure that this game is stable and to keep it fun and interesting. Alright, so do that for them so that we can help them so they can help us, kind of deal, right? So there's going to be another Q&A next month, don't know when. We'll share more details about the new planet then. And PMO said that if you can find this in the Discord, there's one person that detailed in great detail about what the new planet's going to be. This was guessed sometime back in October 2024, and this was when PMO changed their icon to something. And if you bring it up in Discord and PMO sees it, they will confirm it. So if you're tech savvy, have the patience to filter that much content, then go ahead, let them know, let it rip, let us know so we can know, so we can help each other. Alright, troopers, that is it for this one. I will get this published as soon as I can onto YouTube, and I will make sure to share this document so people can do a search for questions and keywords and shit like that. So yeah, also include a link to their video that they did, and yeah, we'll go from there. Hopefully this helps you stay on top of the news for Starship Troopers Extermination. Well, that's enough out of me for now. So maybe I'll go and shoot up some bugs. I need the XP. I need the XP bad. But anyways, I'll catch you troopers in the field. I'll see you next time.